Let's talk about anger. Anger is an emotion that can often be destructive, but it can also be good when it impels us to take action for something that really matters. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that anger is a normal emotion. Everyone experiences anger. Anger is a powerful emotion with a physiological response. Now, people express anger differently, but anger tenses our muscles, it raises our blood pressure, it even changes our facial expression. Now, anger usually happens as a response when we're wronged, or we feel like we've been wronged, or when something that we need or expect doesn't happen. And so that's why anger is such a common emotion. But what you may not realize is that anger can be good. Now, it's easy to understand how anger can serve evil. Whether anger is expressed in physical violence or it simmers below the surface, angry people can lash out in ways that hurt others and that destroy relationships. We've all experienced that in one way or the other. But anger can also be good. The Bible talks about God's anger against evil and those who do evil. And God's anger is always the expression of His perfect justice. And so as such, it's a reasonable and deserved response against unrighteousness. Jesus also demonstrated anger. The focus of His anger was exploitation, oppression, and wickedness. Now, by contrast, our human anger is almost always tainted by sin as a selfish response when we don't get what we want or when we don't get what we think that we deserve. And yet, human anger can also be righteous. We see this in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. And don't sin by letting anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you are still angry, for anger gives a foothold to the devil. So anger can be good if it's a reflection of God's justice and Jesus' righteousness. Anger can be the thing that arouses us to take the action that we need to take against evil and exploitation. Anger can be the thing that makes us stand up for justice or to move to protect people who are weaker than ourselves. So anger can be good. Now, with that in mind, as an application, I want you to think now about how to evaluate your anger. First of all, don't deny your anger. Now, it may seem godly to stuff your anger under the surface or to pretend that you don't feel it, but your body will tell you otherwise as your fingers dig into your palm and your blood pressure rises. Anger is going to come out one way or another. Now, it's okay to express your anger in ways that don't hurt others. Go shout about it. Go hit something safe. Go make something right. Just don't deny your anger. Now, the second way to evaluate your anger is to discern whether your anger is righteous or not. What's the cause of your anger? Is it just that your own sense of rights has been violated? You feel like somehow your own entitlement you feel has been violated in some way? Or are you angry because of how someone else was treated? And if you discover that you have righteous motivations, then you have to ask, now what do I need to do? What action should you take to express your anger in a righteous way? And then the third way to evaluate your anger is to discover the deeper issues. Ask God to reveal the heart behind your anger. What is it about your view of reality, your view of God or yourself or of others or the world that triggered that angry response? In Genesis chapter 4, God asked Cain, "Why are you angry?" And that's a great question that He would want to ask you as well whenever you're experiencing anger. So spend some time in prayer reflecting on what God might want to show you about yourself through your anger. Surrender that to Him and let Him begin a process of transformation.